Good evening and welcome to the session. This is a live session, so we will just wait a couple of minutes if others join. Hello and welcome to the session. Can you hear me clearly and see the screen? This is the tech check. Can you hear me clearly? Thank you. See, this is live interactive session, so uh, please turn on your mic if you have to say something. Feel free to turn on your mic as this will uh, this session is structured as an interactive session. Yeah, do you want to add something? Have you been part of previous sessions? I see a raised hand. Would you like to say something? Can you please turn on your mic so at least I know that devices on my end are working? Okay. So it's already 6:06. Mm, Let's start with the session. Good evening once again and welcome to the session. The course is Principles of Construction Management by Professor Sudhir Misra at IIT Kanpur. I am Venugopal Mahajan, a PhD fellow at IIT Delhi. Excuse me. So, the overview of this course, we have already been to week 5 and week 6 of the course now. Uh, I think week 7 has also been published that you can You can see the contents of week 7 also. So as you have been going through the course, you can find that this is quite a diverse course where we are covering a lot of topics, but breadth-wise, depth is kind of left for your purview. So this can give you a basic idea of a whole lot of things, but detailed you will have to do it. And obviously for someone who has already studied these topics or has been facing these things on site, this can be a good refresher course. So we have already been we already completed till week 5. What have we done? We have done estimation, contract economics, obviously planning and scheduling, a big part of it. So the topics that remain are quality management, safety management, and legal aspects of construction projects. I think this is written. This has been interchanged. So for this session, we will be dealing with week 6 contents, and that is safety management. So safety management name suggests it is going to be more on the theory side. So I do have a lot of MCQs prepared for you, but in case we want to make the discussion more more beneficial for both of us, then it has to be in in the discussion format. It has to be the interactive session. So just session contents: safety in construction. What we would do is we would see some basic definitions related to safety. Then we would see some theories. Why do accidents happen? Then we would see just some couple of basic definitions, basic terms, basic formulae, like okay, accident has happened, now we have to report it or we have to calculate some ratios. So we will see that part. Yeah, so what do you guys think? Is safety important? Is Do you really think that we should be worried about safety in construction, or there should be some specific uh, vertical of managing safety on site, safety management? What do you guys think? See, this is a 2 hour long session, so I can wait as much as possible for you guys to uh, take the next step. So, do tell me about your thoughts on safety management in construction. Okay, before that, do you have any query or doubt related to already submitted assignments or previous week's contents? Anything that has been already covered till now? Okay, can I at least? So, should I move on with safety in construction? Hmm, at least I would need a yes on this to move forward. Definitely, you don't want just me to be speaking monotonously for the next 2 hours, right? So, shall we continue with safety or do you have any doubts? You guys can hear me clearly, right? You guys can hear me clearly, see my screen, right? I don't know why you guys are punishing me like this. Please turn on your mics as it's just us, so we can have some fruitful discussion. Okay, so let's move to some definition. I'll be reading it because we are not in the discussion mode today. So, what do you mean by safety? Uh, if you are safe from something, doesn't mean that that accident or the danger has passed away, right? It means that you can tolerate it. You can. It is at the acceptable level. The risk is at the acceptable level. So that is what safety is. Safety is a state in which the risk or harm to persons or damage to property. Risk to whom? Harm to persons or damage to property is limited to a tolerable level. That okay, it is acceptable to us. Definitely, when we are on the construction site, it is not possible to make 100% totally safe and secure environment. There may be some issues, some safety issues here or there. Obviously, you cannot control for each and everything. We will see it in the further definitions also. So that was safety, limiting risk of harm to tolerable level. So what is risk? This risk. The risk is the combination of frequency or probability of occurrence and consequence of a specific hazardous event. Okay, that something can happen. It is a risk to her, like we say risk. So it is basically a probability of occurrence, okay, of an hazardous event. So what is risk analysis? A systematic use of available information to determine how often, see the rate, how often specified events may occur and magnitude of their likely consequences. We will see the formula for risk level in somewhere down the line. So we saw hazard, like hazardous event, but let's see first what is incident. Incident is any event that gives rise to an accident or has the potential to lead to an accident, right? So there may be cases where it can lead to an accident, but for this time it didn't lead to an accident. It could have, but it didn't. So what do you call them? You call them near misses. Like, let's suppose a hammer falls from the 10th floor. Now that hammer could strike a person or could just fall on some material, construction material lying down. So if it is falling on some person, that would have been injurious, so accident. But this is an hazardous event, right? Even if it falls on a person that was walking by and just misses it, it is near miss. Or it falls on the empty space, but still it is a near miss, right? So that is near miss. Coming to hazard, a source or a situation with the potential to cause harm in terms of human injury or ill health, damage to property, damage to the environment, or a combination of these. So it is a situation with potential to cause harm. Okay. And what is accident? Accident is unplanned, undesirable event giving rise to death, ill health, injury, damage, or other losses to personal or property. So, if accident is unplanned or undesirable unplanned event, can we protect ourselves against accident? Okay, to the guys who have joined very recently, uh, this is related to week 6 course contents, and we will be discussing safety in construction. My open question to you guys is, why should we be worried about safety in construction? Why should there be safety management? Would you like to shed some light on this? Yeah. Why should we be worried about safety in construction? Why should we manage safety? What do you guys think? Is safety management even important on sites nowadays? Guys, this is supposed to be a live interactive session, so please feel free to turn on your mics. Do talk. This topic is highly theoretical, so the more we discuss, the more we gain. You guys don't really think that safety is important, right? Especially on construction sites in India. I mean, why should we even spend on safety, and how do we even spend on safety? Buy some personal protective equipment, that's it? Or paste some signs?
Educate laborers.
Okay, educate laborers. Do you know about design for safety? The concept of design for safety?
Not really, sir.
No, not familiar with this term. What about
I'm
ergonomics? Okay, so maybe we'll try to discuss these when they come in MCQs. So this session is, as the topic is highly theoretical, we will be having a lots of MCQs, trying to cover variety of topics. These were the definitions that were just discussed: safety, risk, incident, accident, hazard. So coming to some very basic things, what are the elements of health and safety management? There should be commitment and policy for health and safety management. You should plan for it, then implement and operate. Then there should be some way to measure and evaluate it. And with this evaluation, there has to be some review so that it leads to continuous improvement. Right? A Japanese concept that has been in use for so many things now in management. So these are the elements of health and safety management: a committee and commitment and policy, planning, then implementation and operation of that planning, measurement and evaluation, how did we perform, then review, and using these for continuous improvement. We also talked about risk. So if you go by, risk is the combination of frequency, probability of occurrence, and consequence of a specific hazardous event. So if you see the mathematical formula for risk level, it would be consequence, exposure into probability. Consequence, the outcome, like what would be the what would be the outcome or severity of that scenario. Then exposure, what would be the frequency and duration, right? And what is the probability that the chosen sequence or consequence will occur? Like if we talk about a hammer falling from top, so what would be the consequence? You can say that okay, someone might be it might cause major injury or even death. But what is the exposure, the frequency or duration? You would say that it is very less. And probability, you would say that okay, it is again dependent on various factors, like people are working on that area, there is no protection underground, there are no safety nets. So in that way you can calculate risk levels. Then hazard identification, assessment and control of risk. So there are 3 steps: identify the hazard, assess the risk, and control the risk. So what is hazard? Once again, hazard is a source or a situation with potential to cause harm, right? In terms of human injury or ill health, damage to property, damage to the environment, or a combination of these. So hazard identification, assessment and control of risk, 3 steps: identify the hazard, assess the risk, and control the risk. So coming to accident causation models. What do you guys mean by accident causation models? Why do accidents happen on site? Or just generally, why do accidents happen? Anytime you open a newspaper or news app nowadays, I don't think there would be many newspapers, just like news apps, maybe in Indian Express or even Geo News, there is some news about accidents. So why do accidents happen? We know what accident is, right? So why do accidents happen?
Due to some kind of mistakes.
Mistakes, whose mistake?
Mhm. In specific to construction, it could be labor's mistake or supervision mistakes.
Okay, labor mistake, supervision mistake. So this has been a very interesting topic for everybody. Like, let's just study why do accidents happen. And guys who are familiar with the Hindu concept of karma know that karma bites, right?
Right.
So all those things have been come in factor when deciding, when working on this question, why do accidents happen. So some people just say that the first model that came was energy model. Energy model, simple as that बहुत सारी एनर्जी इकट्ठी हो गई एंड इट बर्स्ट इन द फॉर्म ऑफ एक्सीडेंट्स. Okay, like that could be cosmic energy or something else, but some energy has been accumulating, and that energy got burst in the form of accidents. Now that doesn't sound like a engineering or technical model, right?
Right.
Yeah, so this has been the first model, but then some people came and they were like, okay, let's change it. Let's make it that now this energy is being accumulated for a lot of time, right? You are not saying that something happened right now and because of that accident happened in the next minute. You are saying that it might be possible that something happened 3 months ago, 4 months ago, that 4 months ago some rope broke and you didn't tie it properly, or you replaced it with a weaker rope so that it was just waiting to break and fall down again. So some incident that occurred in past created such a situation that some chain of events occurred, like a rope broke, so you didn't have the sufficient strength of rope, so you replaced it with another old rope that was weaker, but at that time it worked. Then some other thing happened that with the support of that rope, you had to carry some material support up and down, so there was a stress accumulation in the rope. Then some fire occurred, so the rope got charred, so it was still weak. Then the person who was on the safety inspection, uh, he didn't find it that grave, so he left it as it is. As he left it as it is, then some drunk laborer who was walking by, he pulled on the rope to support himself, so rope frayed more. Then on the next Monday, when something fall, the rope just broke down and accident happened. So there could be a chain like this. I mean, it's again the same energy being accumulated and getting out in the form of accidents. So this was what the domino theory is. Dominoes, one after the other. You know what dominoes is, right?
Right.
I'm not talking
Exactly.
about pizzas. Okay, so and this was what the dominoes was. Then some person came and he was like, again talking about energies, talking about chain of events. So this person, Henrik, he he gave some axioms. What did he say? He said that 98% of the accidents are preventable. How? He said 88% occur due to unsafe conditions, unsafe acts, like unsafe acts of workers, the mistakes of workers. So 88% by unsafe acts. Then he said 10% by unsafe conditions. Like even if the worker is performing his duties very well, but the conditions are unsafe, that the accident was just waiting to happen. So 98% of the cases was this only. Then another number he gave, that uh, okay, let me write it down, because this is kind of interesting. Okay, uh, unsafe acts plus unsafe conditions. And what is the percentage that he gave for this? He said that this accounts for 98% of the total accidents. Okay, and how did he come out to this figure? That was one another question. Then he said that uh, 300 would be your near misses, then 29 would be your minor injury, and 1 would be your major injury. This is the ratio that he gave. Okay, 329 1 for near misses, minor injury, and major injury. Axiom, no one is asking for the proof here. I mean, we are taking it, we are accepting it, even if accepting with a pinch of salt. Now, what happened is, when energy model and domino theory were given, we were told that this was a chain of event, this was a long time due, or this was brewing for some time. It didn't boil it to the accident right at the moment. But in case of Henrik and his axioms, he just limited his study to the immediate conditions that precipitated the accidents. So obviously that was not helpful for others, and people were like, if we do some kind of uh, hazard analysis or some kind of post-mortem after the accident, we have to go back. We just don't have to look at immediate conditions. But he gave two very good terms that we have to discuss: unsafe acts and unsafe conditions. And similarly, after this, PIS model came, then work behavior model. The recent one is systems model. Okay, so unsafe acts and unsafe conditions. What do you mean by unsafe act? What do you mean by unsafe act?
For
Okay,
example,
yeah,
there are some people who are not involved in the construction but are roaming at the construction site. Could be one of example.
okay. So these are human acts that are risky or on the hazardous side, and unsafe conditions are conditions on site that are actually hazardous. So let's see some examples. Okay, unsafe acts like you just said, roaming around without even having some work. So working without authority. Then there might be some danger. There is some danger, and you are not warning others. That is also unsafe act. Leaving equipment in a dangerous condition. Like let's suppose it is some kind of a chainsaw or something, and you already kept it plugged. Even if it's on switched off mode, keeping it plugged is a risk. Or using equipment at the wrong speed. Obviously, if you're driving some crane or uh, yeah, that kind of equipment, and operating it at very fast pace. Dis- Disconnecting safety devices such as guards, like uh, there was some safety net, and you thought that okay, it would be nice to tie um, some other equipment in this safety net, and you cut it out. So definitely this. Using defective equipment, you did not want to change it, or No time to change, so you just taped it and started working again. Using equipment the wrong way, failure to use or wear PPEs. What do you mean by PPE? Personal protective equipment.
Shoes,
Like
uniform,
Okay, shoes, uniform. Uniform, how does uniform help in protection?
helmet,
Yeah,
helmet, sir.
okay, helmet.
Helmet, shoes,
Yeah, helmet, shoes. What else?
gloves,
Gloves.
welding goggles or specs,
Uh, can you repeat?
welding at the time of welding. We
Okay,
wear.
yeah, welding. So activity specific PPE. So what do you think? PPE is the first line of defense or last line of defense?
First line of defense.
First line of defense?
That's what I think.
No, I mean I'm just asking.
Yes.
Is it the first line of defense or last line of defense?
first, sir.
No, last. It should be last.
Okay, why should it be last?
Uh, it will protect us when it is about to happen.
Okay,
Like you're wearing a helmet, it should only protect you at the time of accident, not before that.
okay. Then if it is the last line of defense, then what should come before that?
Some safety measures like signage, barricades.
Yes, yes, definitely. So you see that PPs are the last line of defense, and before that, you should have each and every safety measure. You should make sure you should try to eliminate the condition that some hazardous event occurs. Then you should, for this elimination, you can have to even design also that you design for safety, right?
Right.
Uh, Even your construction processes can be modified such that they are on the safer side. Then you can modify your tools and activities in a human friendly manner or according to human biology body, that is ergonomics. So after all these measures, even if the accidents happen, and at that time the last line of defense is your personal protective equipment. We will see some MCQs on this so that uh, this idea gets drilled in your minds. So what else? Unsafe act, bad loading of vehicle, 10 टन के व्हीकल पे 12 टन 20 टन चढ़ा रहा है. Failure to lift loads correctly, being in an unauthorized place, definitely. Like sometimes you are not supposed to be in the basement, but you find it, the worker is finding it a cool place to sleep. This generally happens even below heavy machineries. You would have seen on sites, right?
Mhm.
Workers taking shade under excavators and whatnot, JCBs and all.
Right.
Then unauthorized servicing and maintenance of moving equipment, horseplay, obviously, smoking in areas where that is not allowed. So if that is
Horseplay meaning, sir.
uh, horseplay, like some foul play or yeah, foul play only.
Okay.
Yeah, smoking in areas where this is not allowed. Uh, Definitely, if it is some confined space, there could be built up of harmful gases or flammable gases. Then drinking alcohol or taking drugs and working under the influence. Obviously, horseplay also include like fighting on site, all those kinds of things, no?
Right.
Yeah. So unsafe acts. What Heinrich said was that these account for 88% of your accidents. So if these are the unsafe acts, how do you avoid it? How do you plan to reduce this number?
By making a security plan or design.
Okay, security plan or design, but this is specific to workers, right? They are acting unsafely. So what can be done?
So we can give them orientation before the work, whether
Yeah,
what to do, what not to do.
orientation before the works. Then warning signs. penalties, right?
Right.
Obviously punishments, and there can be some praises also for people who have been working very well for some time without any accidents and always following safety protocol. So you praise them so that it motivates others,
Right.
right? Some community building programs so that they know that if they indulge in drinking alcohol or taking drugs, it is going to destroy their family.
Enhancing their life as well.
Yeah.
It's better for them as well.
Yeah. So all these things can be for can be targeted towards the workers to incentivize for safety. Now tell me, whose responsibility safety is, whose responsibility?
Project managers.
Project managers. Okay. Anybody else? Whose responsibility is safety?
Project manager.
Project manager. Just one person's responsibility.
Actually, it should be everyone's responsibility.
Yeah. Safety is everybody's responsibility. Everybody that is there or not there for working, roaming, even for people who are roaming around, the safety is their responsibility,
Right.
right? But
Yes, sir.
it like s- the buck has to stop somewhere. Like someone has to be totally responsible for what is happening, because if we say we are in a democracy, right? So governance is everybody's responsibility. Everybody has the right to vote, so everybody is responsible for voting for the right person. But that doesn't happen like that, right?
Hmm.
So it has to stop somewhere. Someone has to take the responsibility so that he can inform others or whatever. He can make sure that safety protocols are adhered to. There is some safety planning. So for that, you would say, yeah, safety,
Safety engineer or safety manager.
safety engineer, safety manager, or even the topmost personal project manager. So we will see this work breakdown, this breakdown structure also, responsibility of safety. Now 88% was unsafe acts. The 10% was unsafe conditions. So what are the unsafe conditions? Inadequate or missing guards to moving machine parts, missing platform guardrails, defective tools and equipment, inadequate fire warning systems. Fire warning systems, have you seen fire warning systems on your sites? Or is it needed on Indian construction sites?
Yes, sir.
It depends on the project to project.
Okay. Can you give me an example where it is needed? Which kind of a project?
I can't remember.
Okay. So, yeah, fire hazard is like, mm, especially when we have got so many uh, electrical wirings for each and every tool passing through, lighting and all. So, with electrocution and short circuit, fire hazards are also there.
Right.
Okay. Uh, so, ineffective housekeeping. What do you mean by this ineffective housekeeping?
Like the tools are roaming here and there.
Okay. Tools, what else? I mean, this is the one thing that everybody who has been on a construction site is familiar with,
Right.
right? I mean, you see tools here and there. Tools are one thing. You see construction material here or there piled up
Right.
bad. Then,
Binding wires.
yeah, binding
Reinforcement.
wires, nails, screws, just loosely placed, just
Nothing
lying.
is ever organized.
Which? What?
Nothing is ever organized on
Yeah,
a construction.
okay, nothing is ever organized. Then even if there had been some transport of material, just by looking at the path you can say कि यहाँ से रेत ले गए थे या सीमेंट ले गए थे, because
Right.
it is going to show you the path, right? So all these kinds of things are there. That is ineffective housekeeping. Then hazardous atmospheric conditions. This basically, in case of confined spaces, it affects more. Excessive noise. Is this an unsafe condition?
It could affect to noise pollution.
Okay, noise pollution. So damage to environment. That's why it is unsafe condition. What else? See, it could also create health troubles for the workers, right?
Right.
Yes.
So, if it is causing some health trouble, so
This is an unsafe condition.
productivity will go down, or some other issues will just fall through because they are not healthy enough. So that kind of a thing. And what is the noise level? We will see it in the MCQs. One more thing. Unsafe condition. Not enough light to see to do your work. Not enough light.
In case of construction at night,
Okay, construction at night.
there should be adequate light.
Okay. Even in case of indoor construction in daytime also, right?
Right.
This could be the case. Or overcrowded place, so not enough light for everybody,
Right.
right? So these are unsafe conditions. So the total is 98% now. What about the 2%? Rest 2%.
The conditions which we can't avoid,
Okay, conditions which we can't avoid. Like,
excessive rain which leads to soil erosion at some areas or for the weak soil.
okay, but then some safety audit must be done after rains, no? That, okay, there were excessive rains, let's check if it is creating another unsafe condition.
Right.
Yeah, so 2% is what they call it act of God. Okay, totally uncontrollable, unpredictable circumstances.
Mhm.
And that's why when all these figures came, people were not happy with Henrik's axioms. They were like, हमें और थोड़ा सा चाहिए. I mean, he should have gone in detail. Okay. So coming to organizational structure, simple as that. If it is a DBB model, it could be that you have a health and safety division for construction agency, or on the consultant side itself you have HNS. Okay. Similarly, if we talk about the construction agency, what can be the structure here? For the project manager, he could have a health and safety manager and health and safety officers, similarly supervisors who roam around and check if people are following the safety protocols or not. So, and that all could be a part of corporate HS. Okay. Coming to another question, cost of safety. So, what are all the elements in cost of safety?
Money spent on signage, barricading or educating the people.
Okay, money on science. What else?
Like you said, there should be a reward system, so it should also come in.
Okay, some reward system. So, money for science.
Science and safety equipment.
Reward system. What else?
Money for science and safety equipments like
Okay,
beds.
safety equipment. What else? Everybody. I mean, cost of safety. See, let's talk about a car only. Okay, there are two cars. One is costing you 5 lakh and another is costing you 3 lakh. But the safety features in the 3 lakh car are very less. Would you still be inclined to go for that car?
It depends how much you care about the safety.
Okay, how much you bear on the safety? If both are the same, both are of the same models, just the safety feature is increasing, then you would say that this additional 2 lakh is the cost of safety,
Right.
right? So you see that the cost of we start incurring the cost of safety even at the design stages. Even if there is some design that is not supposed to be uh, more constructible, or there are safety issues involved, and you change it to such that you're designing for safety, DFS, so cost is involved there also. Then uh, you plan for safety. How? You do some trainings of people, so you spend money on training, then you buy safety equipment, then you make sure some posters are there, you hire a safety team, like safety, you pay for safety supervisors, safety officers whose job is just to maintain safety on site. uh, so all that is also cost of safety,
Yes, absolutely.
right? Then one more thing, if accidents happen on site, you need to pay for it, right? So you also need to take some insurance,
Right.
right? Insurance are also there. So insurance in the cost of safety. Now let's suppose some accident happen, then also cost will be involved, right? First aid and all, or treatment, or workers compensation.
Right.
So let's see some cost of safety, cost associated. So this is basically cost associated with an injury. Okay, one step ahead, that okay, some injury has happened, and this is not exhaustive list, just to give you an idea. Okay, to इंजरी, किसको इंजरी हुई? वर्कर को. सो कौन भुगतेगा? आई मीन वर्कर भी और एम्प्लॉयर भी.
Right.
So the person who is injured as well as the employer, they both are going to suffer in
Right.
terms of cost. Now, as we have been studying, cost can be of two types, either direct or indirect. Direct cost, it's simply what you can directly calculate, that there is some figure in associated with it, or indirect cost, that is not directly visible, but there are some effects because of that injury that is uh, causing extra expenditure to the employer. So let's see. In case of injury, direct cost to worker, obviously loss of income, healthcare cost. Indirect cost, the pain and suffering. Okay, the pain is for continuous for a long time. Family sufferings, because it if he was the only livelihood owner, breadwinner for the family, and if somebody else has to take some leaves to take care of that person, right? So family sufferings, possibility of yeah, possibility of job loss, then obviously negative impact on morale of the family, other family members also. So that is the cost to workers. For employer, ambulance, treatment, medicalization, hospitalization, giving disability benefits, compensation payments. Then the work was not performed, so for that also you have to pay. Then repair or replacement of damaged machine and equipment. Then if something reporting happened, then legal proceedings, cost of investigation. These are the direct costs that you can mention. So everywhere you will see that there is a iceberg model. Okay, so your direct cost would be a small part of what your indirect costs are. Okay, so for indirect cost for employer, cost of lost time, right? Then you have to pay for every person, cost due to damage to equipment, loss of productivity. Tough to calculate this, right?
Right.
Cost of replacement, now training the replacement, then low productivity cost. Then there is also going to be loss of reputation, that okay, this company's site are very unsafe, and whenever this company takes the job, at least two persons will die. You can note it down for sure. Yeah, so it is going to be a loss of reputation and public relations also. You also have to pay continuing wages for the injured workers, then overhead utilities. So this is the cost associated with an injury, and cost of safety we just discussed. So what would we like is, the best scenario would be where cost of safety and cost of injury both are low, right? Like if I plot if I plot it, let it be like this. Okay, cost of safety, cost of injury, low high. So what you would like is that this would be your most favorable scenario, that you invest, the investment on safety is also low, and as well as you are lucky enough that cost of injury is also low.
Right.
But even if this would be good for you, that cost of safety is high, that you have made sure that it is safe enough, and that's why your cost of injury is low. So even if this is not the most favorable, but you are happy with this, right? That
Still
okay,
the
yeah,
still the injuries are less.
yeah, still the injuries are less, but it could be that your site is in such condition, such location, that even if spending high on safety, there is going to be high cost of injury, because the conditions are very unsafe. Let's say hilly terrain, or the weather is always unfavorable. So yeah, you would be okay with that. That okay, at least I am spending high cost on, I am spending high on safety also. So I am somehow reducing the cost of injury, though it is higher from other sites. The worst case would be, for yeah, morally also, and as a responsible person also, that you are spending very low on safety, but your cost to injury is high. Cost of injury is high, right? I mean,
Yes, sir.
this is the one thing that you would not want. If you're spending low on safety, you would be very much praying to God that, God, please let the cost of injury also be low. But if it on the higher side, then you have to answer to the higher authorities, God included, karma included. Okay, so cost of safety, cost associated with an injury. Now coming to some numbers, how to actually calculate it, count it. So you have got few different terms that are used. Frequency rate, like how much, what is the frequency? Every time you will see it is in the 10 to the power 6. Okay, frequency rate. Severity rate, frequency rate is number of lost time injury divided by man hours worked. Okay, severity rates, man days lost due to lost time injury, and divided by man hours work into 10 to the power 6. Incident rates, number of lost time injuries by average number of persons employed in 2000. Okay, then there is also fatality rates, number of fatal injuries. What do you mean by a fatal injury?
Maybe in which person dies.
Yeah, so where it causes some death. So that is fertility rate. All these things, if you see some tables, some random values would be given to you that a company worked 13 million man hours on this site and 600 hours were lost. So you just have to calculate the values. Very simple formulas: frequency rate, severity rate, incident rate, and fertility rate. Now there is one thing that makes some that creates some confusion. Okay, that uh, if you see in frequency rate, they are saying there are two factors, FA and FB, number of lost time injuries and number of reportable lost time injury. Similarly, in severity rate also there is this term reportable, again reportable. So what is this? Any idea?
It seems like there is a some time difference between reportable and the actual lost time.
Why is there a difference?
No idea.
See, not each and every injury is reported to the higher authorities, right? If let's say someone slipped and cut his finger, all you need to do is wash it with Dettol and put a band-aid on it, and he is good to go, right? But some time is lost here also. So lost time injury is this also, and the same person, let's suppose he cut his hand, then severe injury, you have to report it. So how do you differentiate between these two is whenever there is more than 2 man days lost, or let's say 48 hours lost for that injury, you have to report it. So all those injuries come under reportable injuries. Okay, 2 hours or 2 days or 48 hours is the differentiating time limit.
So this is as per Indian law.
Yeah, this is as per Indian standards.
Okay.
All these formulas that I am showing you, they are directly snapshots of Indian standards only. Even the figures that we discussed, that were from IS codes.
So why this number is in millions? Multiplying factor.
Okay, why this number is in millions? Uh, have you heard of the term Six Sigma?
Sorry, no.
I mean, you would have heard, right? Six Sigma or DPMO, defects per million,
Right. Yeah.
right? So, the parameters nowadays are, when we're talking in terms of numbers, we're talking about a million now. And you would say that million is not a big number now. Let's say that there are uh, a normal construction site, 800 workers, 800 workers working for
For a project,
yeah. So let's calculate how many man hours it takes. Okay, let me just open a calculator, or I'll do it here. Okay, so 800 workers, 10 hours per day at least for 25 days.
right?
Then how many man hours is it in a month?
Two lakh.
Hmm?
2 lakh.
2 lakhs. So 0.2 million,
Right.
right? So you see that million, the count of million is not that big.
Right. I get it.
Yeah.
Just to make the number more practical.
More practical, or you would want that numbers should be small enough. So if there are 10 injuries in 1000 man hours only, definitely your ratio is quite high, right?
Right.
Okay, so these were a recap of topics or theoretical points related to safety. We will be moving towards MCQs now. Before that, do you guys have any doubts related to previous sessions or previously submitted assignments, or anything in safety that you would like me to discuss? Okay, so we will be moving into MCQ questions. Just let's discuss it and solve them at a faster pace. Okay, so uh, why should we consider safety? That was my first question to you guys, right? Why should we worried about safety management?
All of the above?
All of the above, definitely.
Yeah.
Like you are worried about human point also, karma and all we talked about, that you don't want to cause harm or injury to other persons. Economic reasons, there is a cost of injury. Then laws and regulations, the governments don't want you to work in unsafe conditions. So definitely all of the above. uh, when is National Safety Day celebrated? Okay, you guys will have to Google it because I am now confused. I was not when I made this question. Okay, when is National Safety Day celebrated?
4th March.
4th March, right? So 3-4 is your National Safety Day. Uh, Now coming to, yeah, who has the responsibility for health and safety at your workplace? The client and main contractor only, employers, employees, and subcontractors, everyone at your workplace, no matter
Everyone.
who employs them, or only the workman?
Everyone at your workplace.
Yeah. So everyone at your workplace, no matter who employs them. Now coming to leading cause of fatalities at construction site, and I have been hinting this for whole hour now. So which of these is the leading cause of fatalities at construction sites?
Falls.
Electrocution, caught in or between, struck by objects, or falls?
Falls.
Uh, okay, what do you mean by falls actually? Can you give some
Someone,
examples of falls?
someone who is working on a scaffolding for a first or second floor,
Okay,
uh, constructing a brick wall, but not standing in a very comfortable position and falls from that.
okay, so falling from some height. What else? Is this the only thing? I mean,
Something heavier falls from a certain height and gets hit.
okay. Can you fall on the level surface also?
Yes, if you are having too much weight on you,
Yeah,
you can collapse.
yeah, you can. So let's see how IS codes define different types of falls. Okay, this is from IS 13416 part 2. So different categories of falls: from heights, the obvious ones, or into the pits, such as lift shaft. There could be, you could also fall into waters or sewers, or this kind of thing that you see in cartoons, that falling through the roofs, or not through the cartoons, I mean action movies. The heroes do fall through the roof covering. Then through main holes, they could also slip, or from chimneys and steel structure or machineries. This is one type of fall where there is some delta of high happening. Or the falls may also be on flat floors due to various reasons, like stepping on objects, it happens, striking against objects, or while pushing some vehicle, like all these kind of falls you can easily imagine in a Tom and Jerry cartoon of 15 minutes, right?
Right.
Yeah. So these are the falls, and yeah, it is the leading cause of fatalities. Now, as per Henrik theory, 88% of accidents were attributable to
Unsafe acts.
unsafe acts. Yeah. Physical and mechanical conditions, no, these were the 10%. Natural calamities were 2%, right? Now, so unsafe acts. The key functions of safety management system are planning for safety, organizing for safety, scheduling for safety, and controlling for safety. We saw a cycle, right? And it had like three parts. So what would you say? Planning, organizing, scheduling, and controlling.
1, 2, and 4.
1, 2, and
Option B.
4. Yeah, definitely. So it's not scheduling. So the key functions are planning for safety, organizing for it, and controlling it, whether it is working on or not. Now, which one method is not lawful? Okay, unlawful method for eliminating unsafe acts. We saw a list of unsafe acts and we discussed how to avoid them. So, which one is not lawful? Showing disapproval of unsafe acts, initial job instructions, education, or none of these?
None of these.
Yeah, none of these. I mean, even penalizing them is lawful.
Right.
So, all these three you can do. Now, the primary next question. The primary goal of occupational health is about, okay, occupational health and safety assessment, OSHA. We have been sorry, OSHA. Sorry, yeah, OSHA. We will be following this. Uh, yeah. So, what is the primary goal?
B.
Protecting the safety health of people engaged in work, protecting co-workers, family members, supplier, nearby community who are influenced by workplace environment, protecting the natural environment, or none of these.
B.
It is the primary. We are talking only about the primary goal. So this is a kind of trick question. The primary goal is to protect health and safety of people engaged in work.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, which of the following activities does OSHA participate in? Assistance to employers and workers, setting and enforcement of protective workplace safety and health standards, citations of employers that abide by OSHA safety standards, and all of the above. So you see that OSHA actually helps employers and workers on how to implement occupational safety, then also how to set and enforce workplace safety and standards, workplace safety standards, citations to employers. No, this is not something that OSHA does. So A and B, these citations are actually some privately sponsored, or even companies like to brag that okay, we have had no injuries for uh, whatever. I mean 10,000 hours. No, not 10,000. I mean like 20 million hours, no injuries and all. So that is something that companies brag about, but not OSHA. Coming to the next part, what must a competent person be able to do? Competent in terms of what? Occupational health and safety, right? So, identifying working conditions which are unsanitary, hazardous, or dangerous to employees. Definitely, if he is competent, he should be able to look for them. Take prompt corrective actions. Yeah, he should be able to take prompt corrective actions. Identify existing and predictable hazards in the surroundings. Yes. Lead in-house employee safety training. If he's a competent person, he should be able to lead, right? So, all of the above. Okay. You have to pick two, it seems, fill in the blanks. Per OSHA requirements, employers are responsible for training employees on Okay, we are talking about employee training, recognition and avoidance of unsafe conditions, how to carry out their duties, applicable regulations and methods to control or eliminate hazards, how to report unproductive workers. Okay, rats, no. Working efficiently and effectively. So, duties and working efficiently, it should be done, but OSHA requirement is about unsafe conditions and what else?
C. Applicable regulation and methods to control.
Yeah, to tell them about controlling and eliminating hazards. So, next question: which of the following would not be found on a site safety plan? Emergency
Minimum
action.
PPE.
Yeah,
Minimum PPE.
minimum PPE. What are these raking attachment details?
No idea.
What is this? I mean, what do you mean by this? Raking attachment detail. Raking can be rake system, right? Storage of materials and all.
Okay.
So what you would find is that emergency action plan is there. Incident notification, like when to notify, what kind of detail has to be there, it is there. Details on safety meetings, when to consider, when to perform and all. Minimum PPE, yeah, definitely. Like on site, you have to set up a minimum PPE that it is necessary for all. Minimum standard, like let's say class A hats has to be there, the high visibility vest has to be there, so it will also be there. Okay. Yeah. So next question: what type of form is intended to identify, eliminate, and control hazard? So this is like these are all there in job hazard analysis form. Okay, identifying, eliminating, and controlling hazard. So job hazard analysis. Now coming to some interesting part. What is the most effective hazard control type? Personal protective equipment, elimination or substitution, engineering controls, warnings, trainings and procedures.
Training and procedures.
Okay. Training and procedures. Any other? Why trainings and procedures? If you can directly eliminate the hazard, or if you can substitute some process or some material or some place in such a way
But
that it is less risky.
there are still 2% chances which we can't control
Yeah,
for that training and procedures.
yeah, but still, like if PP, so the most effective control is elimination of hazard.
Exactly. It should be.
Yes. So the most effective is always the elimination. Now they can be ranked in some order. We will see it later. Yeah. Which of the following concept is part of a culture of safety? If safety is everybody's responsibility, then there has to be some culture. Okay. Work alone when you can save resources. Only pay attention to the task you are working on. Work as quickly as possible to get the job done. Never work alone. Include many people on a single task. So,
B, I think.
uh, only pay attention. No, you have to you have to pay attention to your surroundings also. So you'll say the only one is the part here. Never work alone,
Okay.
right? Because if you're working alone, then if something happens, some untold accident happens. If there is no one to take care, no one to even warn or raise the alarm, it might be fatal to you, right?
Right. It could get more severe.
Yeah, it could get more severe. So, never work alone. Now, how often should site safety meetings be performed? We know that it is a part of safety plan. How often should they be performed?
Monthly.
Monthly. So if a project is like 12 month long, then there would be only 12 safety meetings, right?
Right.
So monthly, weekly, daily, hourly, once. If we are doing it monthly, then we could only do it once and let it be. Everybody could follow. So what the courts call for, what OSHA says is that you should do it daily or whenever the conditions change. That okay, these safety meetings are not supposed to be hour long or days long events. Even if you have a 15-minute safety meeting, it has to be done so that you know that what happened. Okay, one more thing, one interesting trivia. Uh, can you predict when most accidents would happen on the site, on which day or at what time? Can anybody come and say that okay, you will have maximum accidents on Wednesday? Can somebody say that?
No.
Why not? Is there a equal probability?
No, there's not the equal probability.
Yeah. So if there is not an equal probability, then there must be some way to say na, that on this day or at this time the injuries would be higher.
When the difficulty of task would be higher or the number of tasks would be higher.
Okay, number of tasks and difficulties of task are also randomly distributed throughout the week, right?
Right.
Right, you don't know that only difficult tasks will be performed on Tuesdays because you have got extra blessings from God. You don't do it like that.
Hmm.
So, is there any way to tell that on which day would there be more accidents?
Can't say.
Yeah.
I can't say.
Okay. Uh, See, you will find that there is a higher probability of accident reporting or incident reporting on Mondays.
Due to
Because it also happens that workers know that if they're injured on site they will get compensation. So if they're injured over the weekend away from the site, they would still come with the injury and claim that they got injured on site.
makes sense. Makes sense.
Then you would find that if you talk just about a day, uh, most injuries will occur. I mean, the ratio would be higher side on the higher side after the lunch, a couple of hours after the lunch,
Hmm.
when the fatigue sets in.
Right. There should be some reason.
Yeah,
Right.
when they are tired enough and someone is pushing them to complete the target for the day.
Right.
So rash working. So you can say that even if there is no way to predict these things, if you see the general pattern, you can find out that okay, on which day the number would be on the higher side, at what time you should be ready for more injuries. So what you can do is that okay, you know that a couple of hours after lunch, fatigue would be setting in. So just before that, you supply them with some glucose, right?
Just like we take holidays on Friday so that we can get a long weekend. Something like that.
Yeah, that thing also. This is the one thing that has been happening in the online hybrid work culture, claiming sick days just to have extended weekends.
Right.
So yeah, all these things, all these statistics have been studied on the construction site also. Okay, so moving on. Match the definition with the correct employee description. Now we saw something of a competent employee. What should he, competent person, what should be able to do? So let's see. The options will go in the opposite direction. Qualified, authorized, capable, specified, competent. Okay. A person approved or assigned. So that means authorized, right?
Right.
Authorized person approved by employer to perform a specific type of duty. Now, one person, one who by possession of recognized degree. Okay, recognized
Possible.
degree. Yeah,
Qualified.
qualified. Okay, we are all like qualified engineers and all. So qualification is there. Then one who is capable of identifying.
Capable.
So capable, the direct word is capable here. Okay. So you see that being qualified is not the same as being competent or being capable.
Right.
This is the case all over India. So moving on. Which of the following is the least effective form of hazard control? We saw that the most effective form was elimination or substitution, right?
Administrative procedures.
Administrative procedure. Uh, what what do you mean by administrative procedure?
It could be the safety plan as well.
Yeah, it could be the safety plan. So the least effective form is PPEs. Okay, it is the last line of defense and it is the least effective form of hazard control. You start by elimination, then you have some administrative procedures and engineering controls, and then at the last you have PPEs.
Right.
Okay. So, question: which of the two hazards below are among the construction industry's fatal four hazards? You would have seen the movie. I mean, seen those Fantastic Four. Now I am talking about fatal fours. So, what do you mean by fatal four? Four types of hazards that are causing maximum fatal injuries. Can you name them? Can you guess what would be the fatal four?
One could be false.
Okay, false, because
One could be electrocution.
electrocution.
One could be fire.
Okay, false, electrocution. It's not fire. So two you have got. The rest of the two are that we had in the previous question, right? Where was the question? Yeah, all these are fatal four.
Right.
Okay,
Caught
caught
in
in
between
between
and struck.
and struck by an object. So fatal 4, and what is the the percentage? 54%.
Okay.
Okay, 54%. Uh, yeah. So now we have worked a couple of questions on this. So this is just capping it off. Safety controls must meet the following order of priority. Okay, first line of defense to last line of defense, or most effective to least effective. Substitution,
B.
PP, workaround, administrative.
B
Worker,
option. Constitution, engineering, administrative, and PP.
yeah. So D, substitution, engineering, administrative, and PP. Now PPEs, we have been talking about it. Who is responsible for providing the PPE?
Employer to the employer.
Yeah. So employer has to buy it and give it to the employee, right? So employer is responsible. Then which of the following is not considered a PPE? Rubber glove, glasses, sport shoes, hearing muffs.
Sport shoes.
Yeah, sport shoes, definitely. I mean, you're not supposed to go there in running or trekking shoes because for falling hazard, your shoes are designed to withstand 20-ton load. Okay, the shoe cap.
Okay.
Yeah, so sport shoes are not considered PPE. Now, the common cause of food injuries: crushing, penetration, molten metal, chemicals, slippery surfaces, and sharp objects. True or false?
True, true.
Yeah, definitely. So, all these, it could be crushing from above, penetration, piercing, molten metal, chemicals, right? Who is responsible for providing specialized work footwear? The
Employer.
employer again, right? Which of the following is considered approved eye protection?
course, it should be classes meeting ANSI standard.
Yeah.
But what is ANSI?
Uh, these are, I mean,
No.
American Safety Institute code. Yeah. So they have, like, each and every protective equipment has two types of codes. One is of the use, like when should we use which type of equipment, and another, which type of equipment should be constructed in what manner. Like if you say that there is a code on hard hats, you have got A to E or A to G categories depending on which code you see. Like if you see Indian codes, they would be talking about class A, class B, class C. So uh, class B being the hardest, class C just for electrocution. So no, not for electrocution. Class C, class C is the weakest among these three. So how to manufacture them? There are codes for these also. So there are two types of standards related to PPEs. Now the next question: the need for hearing protection is triggered at which decibel level? We saw that, yeah, there is some noise pollution, right? Some noise issues. 80 decibel, 90 decibel, 100 decibel, 110 decibel. This is going to be a guess for you guys.
C.
No, it is like 90 decibel. Some codes will also talk about this at 85 decibel, but OSHA is giving you 90 decibel. Just a guess, I know. Now, falling. Falling, we'll be talking about something called. Okay, falling is, you know that it is fatal for and of the topmost priority. So OSHA regulations require some type of fall protection above how many feet in residential construction? 4 feet, 6 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet.
8 feet.
No, it's one person's height. So even beyond 6 feet, they are like, okay, you have to use fall protection in residential construction.
Right.
But you would be like, I have never seen any kind of fall protection for 6 feet height. It's like people are just jumping this without even a iota of safety feature, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. But the regulation is 6 feet.
Okay.
Now, fall protection systems can include which three of the following? Fall protection system. Keep the name in mind. Personal fall arrest system. Working on flat roof only. Okay, we are not that securing, right? Guardrail system. Safety nets. Offside monitoring.
A, C, and D.
So A, C, and D. What do you mean by personal fall arrest system?
Should be some nets or some hooks on their dresses so that they won't fall.
Okay, nets, hooks,
Some safety belts, right?
some safety belt. Okay, actually, fall arrest system is much more detailed than these basic terms. We will see it in a couple of more questions, and if not clear, we will discuss it in detail.
Okay.
Yeah. So, following OSHA 29 CFR 1926.502, choose the three components of a personal fall arrest system. Hard hat, body harness, anchor, NSI approved work boots, lifeline, proper training.
Anchor,
Okay,
body
anchor,
harness, body
body
harness, and
harness.
proper training.
No, it's lifeline.
Like,
Okay, lifeline is not, I mean, it is actually a wire connecting what you can say anchor to the body harness.
okay.
It is called lifeline here. Um, Actually, if you can you guys give me a moment, I would look for a picture and show it to you.
Mhm. No problem.
Uh, yeah. So personal for arrest system. This one covers. Just a moment, guys. Yeah, can you see it on your screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay.
So
Uh,
lifeline is basically the rope. The other person will pull it in case you fall down.
no, the other person will not pull it. The harness system itself will pull him.
Okay,
Right?
right.
Yeah. Uh, Let me just go back to the full screen mode. Yeah, so these are the points. There is some anchor point, then rope grab, how you are actually attaching it to the rope. Then there is web lanyard. This is the lifeline. Okay, then full body harness and hooks. It should actually be towards the center of your body mass. Okay, so body harness, anchor, lifeline. Then coming to next question, a body harness used in a personal forest system must have the attachment point located in the center of the wearer's back,
Right.
right? So it's true. Roof anchors, D-rings and snap hooks with rust on them are not required to be removed from service.
False.
False. Like you have to check it up. You have to be 100% sure if the system is working or not. So again, a couple of more questions. When inspecting fall protect equipment, look for cuts, frays, holes, or deterioration of webbing or rope. Yes. Deformation of buckles, D-rings, and snap hooks. They should not
Yes.
be deformed. Rust, corrosion, deformation, or damage to anchors.
Yes.
Yes. So all of the above. Right. Now let's suppose the worker has fallen off once. He is saved by follower system. What should you do? Okay. After a worker has taken a fall on their personal forest system, it is allowed to be continued to be used if it is clean, must immediately be removed from the service, shall be praised for preventing further injury, can be given to an entry level employee. This kind of tests your what you can say commitment to safety. What do you guys think? Okay, it must immediately be removed from service.
Right. Right. Makes sense.
Right, if it has already been used once, you have to check each and every point if it has weakened or not. So it must be immediately removed. Now, this a properly designed PFA system must. So this is again theoretical. Limit maximum arresting force to 1800 pounds. Be rigged such that an employee cannot fall more than 6 feet. We saw that from 6 feet itself we are asking for safety harness, right? Bring employee to a complete stop and limit maximum deceleration distance to 3.5 feet. Yes. Allow for 2 people to anchor from the same point. No, we don't want 2 people hanging from same. And be the same for every solar installation. Actually, what happened is the MCQs for this. Some of the MCQs, the credit goes to one of my friends. Anikesh Paul. He's also doing PhD at IIT Delhi. And some of the questions have been taken from OSHA test quizzes. So the test quiz I found had very nice questions, but most of these questions were related to solar installations.
Okay.
So be the same for every solar installation? No. Now, next question. Choose two methods below used to prevent workers from falling more than 6 feet through skylight. Okay. Now,
Safety nets and guardrails.
safety nets and guardrails. What about personal follower system? We just
Yeah,
know
this,
that it will not allow the worker to fall more than 6 feet,
no,
right?
this will also allow
Right. So if you have to choose two methods, which one would it be?
personal fall arrest system and guardrails.
Yeah, PFAS and guardrails. Uh, you won't be indulging safety nets for this purpose. Okay.
Right.
Now, this portable ladders used to access to an upper landing surface, such as house roof, shall have side rails that extend at least dash meters above the upper landing surface to which ladders is used to gain access.
Three
Okay.
feet.
Why 3 feet?
No,
Just so a person can hold it, right?
no.
So if this is your ladder, so it should be 3 feet above it. Uh, when selecting a portable ladder for residential solar construction, choose which items to consider when evaluating a ladder's duty rating. So body weight, yes. PPEs and tool belt, yes. Weight of tools carried, yes. Ampere of solar circuit, not worried about it. Weight of equipment to be carried, yes. Solar voltage, no.
No.
Okay. Now this one, just a geometry question from before. Extension ladder, 24 feet tall ladder you have to install. What distance from the vertical wall should the ladder base be positioned? This is 24 feet. So what should be the value of x?
No idea.
Okay, so there is one thumb rule that obviously it's not uh, in construction. We usually prefer thumb rules better because they have supported us for millennia now. So the thumb rule is that if a person is standing, okay, so if he extends its arms, then this should be the slope of your ladder. That if he stands vertically at the base of the ladder, and so 90 degrees, if his arms are at 90 degrees, then he should be able to hold the ladder. So this is the thumb rule. And
So
for, yeah,
3 feet.
no, the it is like, this is the thumb rule, and what they say is quarter of the effective length. Okay, so if it is 24 feet, then it would be 24 by 6, 24 by 4, 6 feet.
Understood.
Yeah. Uh, Now let's carry the solar panels. Choose three methods from below that could be used to lift solar modules up to a two-story roof. A strong and qualified person could carry on the ladder themselves. No. If you don't have to carry on the ladders, then you could use a boom lift or
Yes.
a forklift or some kind of a ladder hoist system, rope system with ladders,
Right.
right? Yeah. So Most injuries and fatalities involving scissor lifts are the result of operators not addressing scissor lifts. You don't have to worry about speed. Stabilization should be there, positioning should be there, operating systems, no worries. You know what a scissor lift is, right?
Hydraulic lift, right?
Can you repeat?
Hydraulic lift.
No, we are not talking about hydraulic lift. We are talking about, I mean, you have seen scissors, right? So lifts
Right.
are also in this manner, supporting. You can climb from both sides. That kind of scissor lifts,
Okay.
right? So choose three accessories from below that could be used to help establish a extension ladder. You just have to stabilize it. Sorry, stabilize. So level the leg. Okay, don't use the solar rail. Tie off ladder stabilization also. Two people on the ladder. No, not at all. Okay. So coming to next, when using an aerial boom lift to access a roof or install conduits, operators must be properly trained.
Right.
Right. This is the main thing. Okay. Must watch for hazards such as
Right.
overhead power lines. Yes.
Right.
Right. Are not required to use a body harness with a lanyard.
No.
No, because even above 6 feet you have to use follower systems. Must not exceed the unit's load limits.
Right.
Right, they should be in the limit. I
Within
mean,
the
stay
limit.
in the limit. That is the one thing that we have been hearing since what I guess once we started understanding what limits are. Okay, so now coming to some questions related to confined spaces. What are confined spaces? Give an
Have
example of.
limit.
Yeah.
Have limited way out.
Okay, limited way out. Okay, give an example of confined space.
A pipeline. Drain pipeline.
Okay, pipeline could be a confined space.
Tunnel.
Tunnels. What else? I mean, some water tanks also.
Right.
Yeah. So confined space, having limited way out, and not designed for continuous occupancy. Like you just want it to be done, and it is not for human occupancy, right? Open space, no. All of the above, no. Then the three hazards that must be tested for in a confined space: oxygen content, limited way out for the person, and also limited ventilation. So you have to check for oxygen content. Then there
Right.
could be combustible gases built up,
Right.
toxic gases also.
All of the
So
above.
all of the above. An empty chemical storage tank is not considered a confined space. True or false?
False.
False. Yeah, it is a confined space. Who must terminate entry permit? So you saw that confined spaces are limited way in, limited way out. So entering those, someone should permit it, right?
Mhm.
So if someone is permitting that people can enter this, so who? So if someone has to terminate it,
Rescue personnel.
rescue personnel are called only when there is some rescue to be done, right?
Right.
I mean, you don't call. Uh,
Rescue personnel in advance.
can you repeat?
We don't call rescue personnel in advance.
Yeah, I mean, you don't call fire hydrants or fire trucks before even cooking,
Right.
right?
So entry supervisor.
So entry supervisor, yeah. So it is not the entrant who the person who is entering. He cannot terminate the entry permit, but the person who is supervising it, entry supervisor. Now, if established hazard limits are exceeded, you should keep working. Only hazard limit is exceeded. Accident is not happening. Do
Leave
nothing.
space immediately.
Leave space immediately, or all of the above.
Leave space immediately.
Leave space immediately. Just your shows your commitment to safety. Okay.
Mhm.
Then attendant must enter the space with entrant.
False.
False. you will see that this is the case happening in India, and in many cases, like you see some one person entering to clean the sewer and nobody is above, or two persons are there and both of them are entering to clean the sewer and nobody is coming out because toxic gas built up was there, oxygen level was less, nobody to take care of them from above, right? This is the news that is still common. This is one of the issues. This is one issue that I personally hate, manual sewer cleaning.
This is the basic safety practice that they should follow.
Yes, and obviously I am like, you all are engineers, and this would be one thing if you can do, if you can make some effective solution for this.
Right.
So yeah, attendant must not enter the space with the entrant. So now we were on the slippery slope itself. So talk about those. What can improve traction on floors that are frequently wet? Okay, on your shoes, or painting gritty coatings on the floor, using a greasy floor finish. Okay, this is not a cartoon. Or putting up a sign. What do you think?
See, I think.
No, it is painting gritty coatings on the floor so that uh, your shoes start sticking, right?
Okay.
So now there is one thing. If you carry loads that you can't see around, you would have seen just one person carrying the 50-inch TV now because the weight is very low now, right?
Right.
I guess 21, 22 kgs or more than that. So if you carry loads that you can't see over or around, make sure you have good lighting. Stay
Right.
off the stairs. How many
Right.
of you have watched Friends, the TV
Yeah,
series Friends?
I have watched it.
You have watched it, right?
Yeah.
So there was one very famous episode, Pivot, right? When they
They-
carry the sofa upstairs.
Right, and it falls down.
Yeah. So make sure you have good lighting, or stay off the stairs, or take small steps,
Right.
or you could trip and fall. So don't carry such loads.
A, C, and D.
Okay. No, you are not going to make sure that you have good lighting. It's simple as that. Be committed to safety.
Okay, D.
D. Right? You could trip and fall, so don't carry such loads. If you can't see over and around, then it is not a one person job. Call another
Right.
person. Okay?
Always check to safety.
Yeah. So, loose carpeting, stair treads, and floor tiles are tripping hazards. Should be covered with rubber mat or should be reported right away. Now, this is something that we don't even do, we will let it be, right? Or if we want to hide it for some inspection, we will cover it. So, we would like to do that, yes, they are tripping hazards and should be reported right away.
A and C.
And so now, again, I don't know why this is here. What is a safe way to move materials up a ladder? Hoist
A.
them up. A. Definitely. I mean, you don't do the things that you see on Indian sites.
Right. But B and C always happening on Indian sites.
Yeah, you will be seeing B and C only, but they are not the right way. So you have to hoist them up using a rope after you reach. Okay. Then, when is it safe to stand on the top step of a step ladder? You saw
Never.
you saw one question where we have to keep like 3 feet scope, right? Even
Right.
after the top.
So that you can hold it.
Yeah. So when is it safe to stand on the top step of a step ladder?
Never. Never.
Never. Then which of the following fall protect systems prevent falls?
Personal fall arrest systems,
Yes, it prevent falls. Do safety net systems prevent falls?
safety net systems.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
See, they don't prevent you from falling. That is one thing.
They they prevent from injury, right?
Yeah, they could. And safety net system are mostly not for people. They are for material.
Okay.
Like you have got safety nets for materials falling from height, or some tools, or even construction materials.
So that it does not hit somebody with a
Yeah.
ground.
So it doesn't fall on the working or commuting spaces. That's why you have safety net system. And guardrails, yeah, guardrails do prevent falls because you are away from the guardrails, but you know that you have seen how personal fall system work, right? Okay, ladder cages. Have you seen ladder cages?
No, I've not seen.
Okay, have you seen some kind of ladder? You would have seen ladders like this. That,
Yeah, I've googled it. I've seen it, right?
yeah, they have got cages, right?
So that you can walk on and walk down safely.
Yeah. So ladder cages are used with ladders that are fixed to a building or a structure, right?
Right.
If it is portable, you are not going to have ladder cage.
Okay.
And in a personal forest system, OSHA recommends the use of not body belts, not safety belts, but full body
Full body
harnesses.
harness.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
We are on the fire, so we are on fire. So that means towards the end of these MCQ sessions. So when using a fire extinguisher, you should follow the PASS acronym. What does PASS stand for? Fire extinguisher, you would have seen it on public
In our
places.
schools, in our schools, in our offices, colleges.
Yeah. So how to actually use it?
Pull, aim, squeeze, and shoot.
Pull, yeah, pull the pin.
Aim,
Aim towards the fire. Squeeze it
squeeze.
so that the material is coming out, and then sweep.
Right.
Don't do it that just pull, aim, and start sweeping it. You have to squeeze it also, right?
Mhm.
So pass system. Uh, Now fire triangle. What are the elements of fire triangle?
Oxygen, heat, and fuel.
Oxygen, heat, and fuel, right? So there has to be fuel to burn, there has to be oxygen that will burn with it, and some heat to make sure that this burning happens.
Ignite.
That means if you have to prevent fire, what you have to do?
To restrict the entry of oxygen or not to ignite anything,
Yes.
or there should be something which is actually burning or burnt.
Okay, so you see that if there is some fire, okay, I'm not going to draw fire, you know what it is. So either you could starve it of the fuel, right?
Right.
Or blanket it so that oxygen cannot reach it, right?
Right.
No oxygen, no fire, no fuel, no fire. Similarly, you cool it, water or something else, so that heat is not there.
Mhm.
So that means method to quench fire. For fire triangle, you have got starvation, blanketing, and cooling.
Right.
Yeah. So these were the multiple choice questions from my side. I think we did almost like 50 or more than 50 questions, right? Or does it seems to me only?
It doesn't feel to me that we have done 50. It was quite an enjoyable class.
Uh, okay. Yeah, I think I will check. Okay, how many
No problem.
questions did we go through? So, any questions? Anything that you would like to discuss now related to safety or anything that we have covered till now?
No, I think it's all good, sir.
Okay. Uh, you have gone through. Have you already submitted the safety assignment?
Not yet. I think the last date is tomorrow.
Okay, last date is tomorrow. There was one numerical, but I think we discussed the formulae, and
Right.
you need to just follow the form. I mean, just do it using the formula, and if there is some question still, then we will see it after the submission date is over. One more thing, guys. Mm, you would have got one form related to feedback on these sessions.
Yes, we do.
So I don't think I would be getting your feedback from there, but still it is an administrative process, so please do it.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. And you could directly let me know how you are feeling about these sessions, or what more do you want from the next couple of sessions. We have got two sessions. One is on quality. So yeah, one is on quality and the other is on legal issues for this course.
So we will be connecting for another two more chances.
Yeah, two more sessions will be joining. And if you guys think that we should have one summary session, we can also arrange for that.
That would be great.
Yeah. So we would have at least two more sessions, and if needed, there would be third summary session.
So we will note down our doubts for the next time
Okay.
and
Yeah.
certainly will ask.
Yeah. Definitely, you can do that. So this brings us to end of this session. Thank you guys.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much for being here. Hopefully, I will see you in the next sessions.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice day.
Yeah. Thank you. Uh, okay. So signing off. Thank you once again.